What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. It is Sunday, so it is time to knock off another chunk of the CD collection. We are still in the G section. Just going to jump right into this. First up, we have some traditional heavy metal out of Nebraska. Even has some power metal or even thrash metal tendencies here and there. This is Ghost Tower with Head of Night. This is the, I think, 2018 reissue that came out through Paragon Records. It's a pretty decent album. It has some production issues here and there, but it has that lo-fi production at times that kind of takes away from some of this stuff. But all in all, the music on this is pretty solid. So pretty good stuff there from Ghost Tower. Next up, we have a band that's able to kind of mix symphonic metal and melodic death metal kind of seamlessly. This is Ghosts of Atlantis with their album entitled 3624. This was released on Blackline Records, I believe, last year, and it's pretty solid. This is the debut full length from Ghosts of Atlantis, and I was pretty impressed with this. There is one track, I think it's the fifth track, When Tridents Fail. That particular track has such a larger than life feeling. It's good stuff. I do enjoy that album. I find myself returning to that one more often than I thought I would. Next up, we have Ghoul Necropsy with The Wrong Side of the Saw. This is some gore grind out of New York. I actually received this in that huge Severed Records, that 100 CD mystery box that I did. This has like some froggy, croaky vocals going on it. I don't want to talk bad about this album because, I mean, both of those guys look like they could just beat the piss out of me. So we're just going to leave it at that. I mean, it is gore grind out of New York with some Kermit the Frog vocals going on. Next up, we have some kind of progressive doom, very atmospheric stuff there. Even teeters into like post metal at times. This is Giant Squid with Metridium Fields, I believe is how you pronounce that. This was my introduction to Giant Squid. I believe it is actually their debut full length. This came out on The End Records. Been out for quite some time now. Early 2000s for sure is when this came out. I don't see a date on this. This is just a promo copy, but it is a jewel case promo, so I can appreciate that. Pretty decent stuff there. I haven't really dug too deep into their discography, unfortunately. I did pick up an EP that they put out, I think in 2011 through Translation Lost Records. This is Giant Squid with C Notes, I believe is how you pronounce that. 5 tracks, pretty decent. I do like that debut full length a bit better. Sound has gone in a bit of a different direction, but they are a very progressive style of music. So I mean, you're going to have some variations between releases, definitely. Next up, these 3 albums are all from the same band. This is one of those bands that's kind of stuck in the collection that I picked up. These all came in through a Face Down Records mystery boxes, and a lot of that stuff that I got through Face Down, I have either rehomed or just kind of moved away from. But this is a band that I've held on to their material. I still enjoy this. I haven't picked up anything of theirs outside of what I got in those mystery boxes, but the stuff that I did get, I do return to every once in a while, and I do enjoy it. This is Gideon. This is their album entitled Costs. Hardcore. At times they kind of tote the line to metalcore, even some little hints here and there of deathcore going on this at times as well. But I do enjoy it. Do I enjoy it enough? I think they have two more full lengths outside of the 3 that I own. I won't go out and say, hey, I'm going to go hunt those other 2 albums down. If they happen to trickle in my collection, I wouldn't be upset, but it's not something that I'm just going to aggressively pursue. This is their full length entitled Milestone. This one is pretty good. The next one that I'm going to show is probably my favorite of the 3. For those of you that aren't familiar with Face Down Records, they are kind of they mainly put out Christian metalcore, Christian deathcore, and Christian hardcore material. So it's one of those labels that a lot of people in extreme music kind of frown upon, but I don't knock music or bands for any kind of lyrical themes or that type deal. So this is my favorite of their three. This is Calloused, and it is definitely my favorite full length that they put out. This one came out in 2014, so it has been out a while. But of the three that I own, I definitely enjoy. I find myself returning to this one more than anything else. Next up, we have some more hardcore. This is Give Up the Ghost with Year One. This is pretty generic hardcore. This came out through Bridge 9 Records. Maybe a detriment to this is that it's just a compilation album. It has a lot of their early demo material and some other stuff. A lot of stuff I've found through Bridge 9 Records sounds eerily similar. I did a mystery box, and there was a lot of this kind of unity hardcore type stuff going on it. And to be honest, you could swap out this with a couple of those other CDs that I got in that grab bag, and I would have a hard time telling this band from the other. I really, I mean, they all sounded just eerily similar to me. Next up, we have some deathcore / metalcore. This is Glass Casket with their debut album entitled We Are Gathered Here Today. I believe this originally was released in a slipcase. I don't have the actual slipcase for it. I just have the what was on the inside in the jewel case. I did buy this secondhand. Pretty good deathcore / metalcore. Early 2000s, 2003 is when this came out, so it does feel a little dated now going back and listening to this stuff, but I do find myself enjoying this still. Then we have Glass Casket with Desperate Man's almost dropped it. Desperate Man's Diary. This is probably my favorite of the two, but I do enjoy both. They got me with the actual disc. It looks like it has like disc rot or something going on, but it's kind of etched into the actual disc on that. So, but pretty good stuff from Glass Casket. The vocals can be a little off-putting if it's not something that you're expecting or you're familiar with already. But other than that, I do enjoy both of those releases. Next up, we have some. This is sludge metal. It sounds up when you start off, you would swear you're fixing to hear a Mortician record just from the sound clip that goes into it. I received this in a VCLT package. This is Gloomy Sunday with Introduction to the Apocalypse. I had no idea what I was in store for when I got this. This was completely new to me. Looking at it, I thought I was in for some black metal or possibly black and death metal just from the cover and all that, and then I heard it almost has like a zombie apocalypse Mortician intro going on. I was like, man, I'm about to get blasted away, and then it turns out to be some really solid sludge metal. So I was caught off guard with that, but in a good way because it is a solid release. Next up, we have some black metal. I believe this band is out of Canada. This is Gloria Diabli with their EP entitled Gate to Sheol. It's an EP, but it comes in at just over 30 minutes. I mean, they could have pulled this off as an actual full length. Good stuff here. This is phenomenal black metal, just icy. They have some memorable riffs going on this, and I do enjoy this quite a bit. It is the only material that I own from this project, unfortunately, but I do dig this quite a bit. This is the reissue. I think it originally was released 2014 possibly, and I think Battle Command reissued this in 2015, and this is the Battle Command reissue. Next up, we have some blackened southern rock. I don't know. It's like a mix of southern rock and black metal, and that sounds like it would be absolutely atrocious, and some of the new material that they put out can be deemed that way, but I actually dig this particular release. This is Gloria Belly with The Great Southern Darkness. This is the only release that I own from them. I think they had two full lengths that came out after this that I really just I couldn't get into. They have some earlier material that leans more to the black metal side of things that's pretty good. At some point, I would like to backtrack and possibly pick up some of that older material. I want to check it out a little bit more before pulling the trigger on it, but I do like the Great Southern Darkness. Alright, I can't remember where this band is out of. This is another Translation Lost Records release. This came out in 2020. It is a pretty solid death metal release. This is Glorious Depravity with Ageless Violence. I want to say this band, and these are two places that are completely about as far away from each other as you can get. I'm not sure if they're from Texas or they're from New York. It has to be one of the two. It could be something completely else, but I should have just kept my mouth shut on where they're from. Doesn't really matter. Pretty solid dose of death metal here. This came out in 2020, so I'm hoping this band is on the way to putting out some more material, because I definitely want to hear it. This was a killer debut album, so I'd like to see where we go from there. Next up, we have The Glorious Dead with Into Lifeless Shrines. This is the full length from Marty Worm, his band, killer death metal. It's in this little thin line jewel case. Originally, you have to buy the vinyl to get a CD copy. It's just kind of the way of the world, unfortunately, for CD collectors. I'm kind of shying away from picking up vinyl. I'm getting kind of to the point, if it's not on at least tape, CD or tape, I probably will just move on and pick up something else, because having stuff like this on the shelf kind of takes away, in my opinion, from the CD collection. So next up, we have Narwolf with Abandon. This is some math rock slash, it's I don't know. I got this as a freebie, thrown in an order that I placed. It's okay. I mean, it's a little outside of what I normally listen to, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's one thing about like getting VCLTs or freebies. You can kind of expand your horizons a little bit. But that whole kind of mathcore type stuff, it can be a tough listen for me at times. So next up, we have Goat Whisperer with Hell's Override, Euphorian Suicide. Killer full length here from Tyler, and used to be on YouTube as Acts from the Abyss, and I believe that channel is gone now, and I guess he's kind of shrunk and disappeared off into the abyss. And this is the only full length. This is the only release that Goat Whisperer put out that I'm aware of, and that's unfortunate because I really dug this release. So this was limited to 50 copies. Very glad to still have that in the collection. Next up, we had to throw a little bit of controversy in the video today. We have Goat Moon with an album title that I cannot pronounce, and I'm not going to attempt to. This was released on Werewolf Records, 2014 possibly. I mean, it's black metal. You guys know what this is. I mean, I don't have to get into it. I don't have to glorify what it is. It is it's NSVM out of Finland, and we'll just leave it at that. Next up, we have some kind of blackened funeral doom ambience. There's a lot of ambience, especially in this particular. This album leans more to ambience and black metal sprinkled in, as opposed to funeral doom. This is Goat Psalm with Ursit La Terre. Pretty solid release here. It is very dark stuff. It is something that can be a bit terrifying to some, but I do enjoy this. It's something I have to be in a mood for. I have to be in a certain mental place to be able to enjoy that. But when I'm there, it definitely is enjoyable. And this album of theirs leans quite a bit more heavily into the funeral doom realm of things, and this is probably, well, not probably, this is my favorite release from the project. This is Goat Psalm with Downstream. Black metal, funeral doom, and just straight dark ambient all fused together in a great way on this. I do enjoy this. I bought this from Redstream Records quite some time back, but I believe this was released on Aesthetic Death, as was the previous one that I just showed as well. Next up, we have some sludge. It's kind of a sludge fused with grindcore and even some death metal sprinkled in. This is Goat's Blood with Drool. I received this in a Willow Tip Records grab bag many moons ago, and it is one of the standout releases that I got in those Willow Tip grab bags. I wasn't really sure what to expect when I first listened to it. I almost had this feeling that I was going to get something blackened. And looking back now, the artwork and stuff completely fits the music, but at the time I just did not know what I was getting into. But some killer stuff there from Goat's Blood. Next up, we have some Stoner Doom. This is Goat Snake with Flower of Disease. This is the debut full length, released on Southern Lord Records. Don't see the date on it, but it has been out for quite a bit of time, early 2000s for sure. Southern Lord has a way of putting out just sludgy, doomy, stonery goodness, and especially in the time period that this came out, they were absolutely killing it. Then I have their EP. This was my favorite Goat Snake release for quite some time. This is Trampled Under Hoof. I believe this was also released through Southern Lord. And I've just about wore this CD copy out. At some point, I'm going to have to probably invest in a backup copy because I've played this one so many times. And then Metalhead Box came in clutch. I've received their newest album through Metalhead Box. I'd had this on my radar for so long to pick up. It came out in 2015. It's hard for me to believe that it's been out that long. And there was a huge gap in Goat Snake releases. There was a very large time frame there where they didn't put anything out, and I'd almost forgot about picking this up, and it came in a Metalhead Box, and I was pretty ecstatic about that. This is the latest. It's entitled Black Age Blues. Latest, even though it came out in 7 years ago in 2015. But this may be my favorite release from the band now. I've revisited this quite a bit since it came in that box. So definitely stoked to have that one in the collection. Next up, and this will be the last band that I show. I have 3 albums, and I'm severely lacking in their material, and that's unfortunate. It's one of those bands you probably would be a bit surprised to see that I don't have all the material, and that band is Goat Horror. The first one that I own is A Haunting Curse. This is my favorite release from Goat Horror. I used to have the debut full length on an original press, and I don't know what happened to it. I probably stupidly sold it at some point. I'm going to have to seek out some more of their material ASAP because I'm just kind of slacking. When you've got Ben from Soylent Green doing the vocals and Sammy Duet on guitar and other vocals, I mean, it's something that that you really need in your life. I have Goat Horror with Carving Out the Eyes of God digipack from Metal Blade Records. Funny enough, Sammy Duet actually did live vocals on the I Hate God tour in the early 90s, and tonight I'm actually on my way to Memphis to see I Hate God do a headline show, so that should be fun. And then the last one that I own from Goat Horror is Blood for the Master. Definitely need more of their material in the collection. It's kind of sad that I don't have it. You would think of all the stuff that I do own that I would have more Goat Horror in the collection, but unfortunately I don't. That's all for this section of the shelf. I should be back at least next Sunday to do another one, and I will try to get a collection update sprinkled in here and there as well. Stay metal, stay classy, and I will see you guys soon.